Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 96 of the Anatomy of Knitting podcast. My name is Erin, and I'll be your host. Today is April 21st, 2016. I have a couple of feline co-hosts, it seems, and I am podcasting to you from Cork, Ireland. It is currently an overcast day here. It's been quite beautiful the past few days, so I think we're due for an overcast day. Thankfully, no rain. So let's kind of go over what we're going to talk about today. I've got a week in review, I've got a finished object, and then I've got some works in progress. So let's get started. Week in review. My husband and I recently celebrated our cat jumping 7th wedding anniversary. We got married 7 years ago this past week. And we decided to celebrate it kind of in a quiet way. Let's see. We ended up taking the boys up to Dingle. Please don't send the computer, sweetie. Thank you. We brought the boys up to Dingle. Dingle is, let's see. I'll just show it to you on a map. It's hard because the camera reverses everything, so if I try and show you something on a map, it's just backwards. So let's back up. So the blue dot is about where I am. So there we go. And then you can see Dingle is right there on that little peninsula. And if we zoom out a little more, the blue dot is where I live in Ireland. So we live in the south. So Dingle's about a 2-hour drive from here. And it's a pretty decent drive. My husband, we got the boys all packed up and threw everything in the car. We did it all kind of in one shot. Thankfully, we entertained the boys with a little bit of their iPad. They've been watching Finding Nemo on the iPad. And we got up there. What did we do? So we left here at about 9-ish and ended up getting up into Dingle around 11:30, which was perfect timing because the main reason we kind of were going there was to check out the Dingle Aquarium. And there's lots of great stuff to see there for kids. We saw lots of fish. We saw some sea otters. They have a little otter habitat. They had some reptiles. They had a big shark tank with 2 sharks and a bunch of fish and a turtle, which Malcolm loved and spent probably about an hour in front of, all told. We also saw, there was a penguin habitat, and there was a touch tank where we could touch stingrays. So Malcolm ended up touching a stingray, and I touched a stingray, and a starfish, and I got to hold a starfish in my hand, and Malcolm was brave enough to try and touch him. And there's a tunnel which has some small sharks and some fish that swim around you, and it was just really fun. It was it was a little on the small side. I thought it was going to be a little bit bigger, but the boys really enjoyed it. So we ended up going through the aquarium a couple of times. Then it got to be around lunchtime, and the good thing about the Dingle Aquarium is that they give you a hand stamp. So we were able to leave and have lunch. And we had a really delicious lunch at this restaurant. I don't remember the name, but it was right near the aquarium. The boys they shared a chicken finger meal. My husband, he had a Caesar salad with chicken, and then I had I think it was crab and shrimp croquettes, and they were delicious. They were very good. I ended up having all of the meals that we ate in Dingle. I ended up having seafood at every meal. Oh goodness! I love seafood, and I honestly don't get to eat enough of it in my day-to-day life. My husband doesn't really like most fish. He'll eat salmon and like no taste whitefish really. So once we finished with the lunch, we went back to the aquarium, and there's going to be a bunch of pictures probably at the end of the aquarium because the boys had such a good time. And then we also knew that we wanted to take them on a boat trip. Dingle is also pretty famous for having a dolphin named Fungi or any of the spellings that you would expect to sound like fungi or fungi. And he is a dolphin that's been apparently living in the Dingle Bay for 20 or 30 years. And he just likes to swim with the boats, and apparently is a pretty solitary dolphin. And the boats go out into the bay and try and find him, which is not that hard because he's very easy to find. And he likes to swim alongside the boats. So the boys really enjoyed that. Nathaniel especially has been saying at least once a day that he wants to go get on the blue and white boat and go find the dolphins. So it's good that he remembers it, and it was a memorable experience. After that, we went and checked into our hotel, and we stayed at the Skellig Hotel, which is in Dingle, pretty close to. You can see the bay. Oh, excuse me. You can see the bay, and it's a beautiful facility. We checked into our room, and then we just took a walk around the grounds. And we knew there was a pool, and so we decided to go kind of check things out, and ended up taking the boys for a little bit of a swim. Nathaniel did not want to go swimming. He wanted no part to do with it. He just kind of stood on the sidelines, and I sat with my feet in the water. There was a kiddie pool and then like a lap pool, a small lap pool. And so Malcolm had a ball going in the kiddie pool and running around in there, and Nathaniel just stood on the sidelines, sadly, and then ended up just saying, "I'm done, take me out of here." And so I went and got dressed with him, and then Malcolm and Daddy kept swimming a little bit. So after that, we had room service because I was afraid with no naps and all of that activity, the boys would melt down at dinner. So we did that, and then we all went to bed pretty early. And this was the first time that we all have slept in the same room. When we went to Disneyland Paris, we ended up getting adjoining rooms just so there would be a door that we could close, and the boys, could go to sleep while my husband and I stayed up and had some child-free time. But we didn't do that here in Dingle. We had the same hotel room, so we all tried to go to bed. It was around 9 that we all ended up falling asleep. Malcolm... Excuse me. Nathaniel slept like a champ, but Malcolm, after about 2 hours, woke up. And sometimes they do this on school days, just because they think they're overtired. They wake up and they kind of scream and squall, and we go up there and we give them comfort. And typically, when it at least happens here, they'll go back to sleep and be fine. But in Dingle, that process kind of lasted about 2 hours, where he would doze off, and then he would wake up and I guess maybe realize he was in a strange place, and he was overtired, and he just would scream and squall. And so my husband and I would get up, and we would pat him on the back and say, "It's okay, you're here, we're in the hotel room, Mommy's here, Daddy's here, Nathaniel's here, go back to sleep." And then he would be fine, and yeah. What ended up working, I think, is that the hotel room was really quiet. Like that quiet. Like no sound whatsoever. You couldn't even hear like the ocean sounds from the bay. So I ended up going on my phone And I still had their noise, their sleepy noise music. It's me. I say music in the sense that it is on my phone, and you play it, but it is not music. Let me go see if I can play you a sample. Sleepy. Yeah, it's the sleepy noise. This is something my husband downloaded. So it basically just sounds like an ocean noise. And once I started playing this, I think he may have woken up one more time crying, and then he was cool. So next time, make sure that we use that and play that. The next day we woke up, we had breakfast. I had salmon for breakfast, and that night when we did the room service, I had fish and chips. So I had seafood the entire time. So happy. Yeah, I got some smoked salmon from the breakfast. It was a little breakfast buffet, and the boys inhaled banana bread and some sausage and some toast, and then we checked out and we started driving. We made a stop in Tralee and visited a park in Tralee, and I think we're planning on going back to see the Rose Festival that they have there, because the park had a beautiful rose garden that was just starting to grow. And yeah, we got back and then the boys slept wonderfully that night because they were exhausted. But now we start thinking about our trip to the States. And I've slowly started using the guest room as our launching site. So I've taken a few things that I know I want to bring, like the swimsuits for the boys. They're these, the shirts that have SPF protection. It came with their swimsuits, so I got those, and some hats that came with that. I have, what else do I have? That there's some tea that my mom wants me to bring her. There's a gift for my brother for his birthday. There's, what else is up there? Oh, the boys' backpacks. So I'm slowly starting to start our staging area. And as you can imagine, taking twins to on a long international flight is a bit of a process, but we will persevere. So let's get to the knitting part. I bet you're thinking that finished object that I may have would be the sweater, but you are wrong. After weeks of not talking about them and not knitting a stitch on them, in the 2 weeks that I last podcasted, decided that I wanted to knit on my Seahawks socks. This. So I think the last time I spoke to you on one of the socks, I had gotten down to here with the foot. So then I just zoomed, finished that one, and then zoomed, finished the next sock in a week. So this is, I believe, Knitted Wit yarn in the 12th Man colorway in her base that has the sparkle. I want to say it's her Blitz base, but I don't have the tag with me at the moment. I cast on 72 stitches and did my usual stockinette stitch sock. So that's about 1 inch of ribbing. It's 1x1. A stockinette stitch cuff, a slip stitch heel only because I like the look of it, and then a regular a turned heel, and then a gusset, and a stockinette stitch foot as well. So these are my Seahawks socks. I'm not particularly a huge Seahawks fan, but I do love Seattle, and I love these colors. So it's like lovely gray and kind of a lime green, and then this dark tealy turquoisey color. So these are my socks that I have finished, which are really fun, and I'm really excited about them. I did have that much yarn left, enough to add to that sock yarn blanket that I'm working on. And you could probably see this, you can see the sparkle a lot better in the ball rather than in the sock. So yeah, it's exciting to have those socks done, and I'm really pleased that I have a new pair of socks because it's been a while. It's been at least a couple of months. I believe I cast these on in January. Thanks. So after that, I decided that I needed to cast on another pair of socks just to have on the needles. So, oh, here's the, it is, no, that's not the right tag. It is knitted wit, this one. This is knitted wit in the 12th man colorway, but I don't remember the, this is the other tag that I have for the other socks that I finished from her. What I decided to pull out, apparently, does not have a name for the colorway. This is the next sock that I'm decided to work on. This is some Shibui sock yarn. Shibui is based out of Portland, Oregon, out of the shop Knit Pearl. And excuse me, I've had this in my stash for a very long time. This is very vintage stash. This is their sock yarn. It's 100% superwash merino. And in the very faded colors, it's color 3602. Now you can barely see that. It's 50 grams, 191 yards. Shibui. And I'm going to say that somewhere in my notes, in my Ravelry notes, there's actually a name for this colorway. Let me see if I can. Apparently I've closed out Ravelry. So let me see if I can quickly open that up. I want to say it was like Aruba or something. When I logged it into my project page, yes, here we go, socks. Anime is what the colorway name is on that I logged in under my stash page apparently. So that is the sock yarn. Let me get back to the window so I can see how I look. There we go. So there's the ball. There is the sock that I am knitting on. I kind of really like how this, and this is looking a lot greener for you than it does for me in person. I mean, it's pretty green in person, but it looks a lot more green than it is. I'm really liking this kind of spirally pooling. I think that's really fun. So I'm looking forward to see how these are. And here's the other skein I have yet to ball up. Again, it's a little more, maybe it's what I'm wearing, that kind of harsh pink. So anyway, that's the yarn, and these are the socks. And I started these when we left on our weekend. So I got this much done during the weekend, which is pretty good, considering I didn't get my child alone time after the boys went to bed. That's usually when I do knitting when we're out and about. So the next and last thing I have to show you is the sweater I've been working on. This is the Harvest Cardigan by Tin Can Knits. This is knit out of Madeline Tosh Vintage in the Brothers Grimm colorway. The last time I spoke to you, I believe I was working on the length of the sweater. I think I had to knit to 15 inches or so, and then do 4 inches of ribbing, Maybe I was on the ribbing when I last spoke to you. So I finished the ribbing there. Whole 4 inches of garter, and again, there's that line from where this. So design feature of this sweater is that there's this garter band that goes around, and it's on the button bands but there's no buttons, and I must have followed the directions wrong because I had to purl mine on all sides to get the right one to do garter. And so I had to, when I got to do the bottom garter band, I had to knit on this part, and then when I got to the button band section, I had to go over to purl. And I thought maybe that this line would be a little less noticeable than if I had a jog of an incorrect garter ridge. So, looks okay. I don't hate it, but I wish it wasn't there. Yeah, so believe I told you that this was the Brothers Grimm colorway. And yes, you can see the difference in the dye lots. I tried to stripe them. And I did stripe in the garter band up until the point that I ran out of yarn. Let's see if I can. Yeah, you can kind of see like that first third of it. There's just a very faint stripe from where I was alternating rows. And then I used the rest of the big skein that I had to. I was just going to knit until I ran out, or until I finished the garter band, whichever came first. Turns out finishing the garter band came first. And then I cast it off just using a regular cast off, and it's stretchy enough that I'm pleased. And so I have next picked up the right sleeve, and I'm getting ready to start knitting the sleeve of Sleeve Island. So, really pleased. This is a nice long sweater. It'll be nice and cozy. I'm pretty excited about that. I still have yet to, that's what's left of that big ball from doing that garter band. I figured I'd just knit as much as the sleeve as I could. And then I still have, and this is the sweater that I had knit most of an effortless cardigan out of. And so I still have 4 skeins, and I don't know exactly how much yardage is in these because this is yarn that I had knit into a sweater, then ripped out and reskeined. So I still have this much yarn, which should be enough for 2 sleeves. So, yeah. The Harvest cardigan's turning out really well, and yeah, so we'll see how much sleeve action I get between now and next week. I think I'll be recording next week. Let's look and see if I have anything interesting going on. Probably not next to Thursday. It is the 28th. No, I have nothing going on. This weekend, however, I am currently on the committee of the Southern Branch of the Irish Patchwork Society. I am currently the public relations officer and the editorial representative of said organization. And basically what I've done since I have been in this position is I have created a website for them. I've created a Pinterest board for them and have been curating that Pinterest board. I have been... What else have I done? I've created a YouTube channel and have created a bunch of beginning quilting videos to do that. Yeah, and basically just posting content on the website. Our April meeting was that's when they hand over to, or that's when the next committee comes on board. And because I have not been doing this job for 2 years, I can still continue on with the committee. And so on Saturday is determining who does what position. And because the president and the secretary, or the chair of the committee, which is basically the president, and the secretary, and there's another member who are stepping down. There's some talk of maybe asking me to be the chair/president of the branch. So we'll see what happens. I'm willing to do it, but I know that some people probably might not like that because I'm young and not from here, and I don't want to step on any toes. I'm more than happy to continue doing what I've been doing and to raise the profile of the group. There's Ari again. So we'll see, and so I should have some news from that. If you want to see all the stuff that I have done for this organization, the website is ipscork.com, and you can find the links to the YouTube channel, the Pinterest board. I've done some presentations that you can find on YouTube, so some slideshow presentations on how to make some quilt blocks and all sorts of good stuff. So if you want to do that, you can check that out that way. I think that's about it. So I don't see why I wouldn't podcast next week, but we'll see. So I will say goodbye now, and I'll be showing you probably a bunch of stuff from our trip and from our time since the last podcast. So I hope you enjoy the pictures of the boys and the pictures of our trip. So I shall see you all next time. Bye.